Hey, everybody. Welcome to UnZipped. We're going to go behind the scenes today with Ellecia Paine, who is a non-monogamous relationship coach. And also more interesting, which we're going to get into, is she is the creator of the Getting It On in a Group program, intentional threesomes, foursomes, and moresomes. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. You want to get into it?
Yeah.
All right. So, what is ethical non-monogamy?
Okay. So ethical non-monogamy is not monogamy.
Yeah.
It's a really good umbrella term for a lot of relationship styles that are done ethically. So meaning that everybody involved is aware and knows what's going on with everyone. There can be swinging, polyamory, monogamish kind of open folks.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah, like it's an umbrella term for a lot of forms that just basically mean you are not only having a relationship and sex with one person until you die.
Okay, so it's like, what's the difference between that and poly? Is it just, it's kind of like an umbrella? It sounds like it's just a blanket umbrella term for polyamorous, everything that you just said. What's the difference between poly and non-monogamy?
Oh, that's a really good question. And also, I was Googling that the other day, and all sorts of websites out there have it wrong. So,
ooh, okay. Tell us.
So ethical non-monogamy is the umbrella term of all forms of non-monogamy, except for like cheating.
Yeah.
Polyamory is multiple loves. So having emotional loving connections with multiple people.
Got it.
Yeah. And that can include sex or not include sex.
Right. Yeah. And how long have you been ethically non-monogamous?
I think it's been 7 years now. I was previously married monogamously for 13 years. And when I got divorced, I was like, I'm 35, I have 2 kids, I have a house. Like, I really don't see any point in getting tied down again.
Yeah.
Like, I want to experience all the things. And so I made this commitment to myself that I was never going to be monogamous again, but I had no idea what that would look like. Like, I didn't have people around me that did that. I had no exposure to that kind of community. So I was like, well, I'm just going to be a slut forever, but I'll tell the people I'm sleeping with about it because that just seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And then I started meeting people who were polyamorous. My current husband was dating a couple of couples when I met him. And so I started reading lots of books and just doing a lot of research and kind of figuring out where I wanted to like fall into that. Yeah.
Got it. So you when you met your husband, you kind of saw what he was doing and you had already kind of met all of these other kind of relationship types. And then you're like, oh, this is for me. This is where I feel most comfortable, most free.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like there's been a lot of transition, right? A lot of trying different things. Like we started out, like we went to a couple of swingers clubs and we met up with swingers and we had some intimate relationships with people. And we just kind of went through I don't know, just had experiences to see what worked best for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you would like, tell someone maybe who's listening right now, who's like, ooh, I'm interested in that. I'm maybe but maybe too shy or hasn't tried these different relationship types. What kind of advice would you give them on how to start?
So I think a lot of people start out with this really firm idea of what they want.
Yeah.
Right. Without having ever experienced it. The most common story is a couple opens up and they think the best way we can keep our sexual safety and our emotional safety and curb jealousy is to find a third person to join our relationship. That is the most common story. Right. And so then they're like, that is what we're going to do. And they set forth a bunch of rules and ideas for this third person who isn't even a real person yet.
Right.
And then 99% of the time that blows up. So having an open mind, moving slowly, like dipping your toes in, I think is really important, and not having this firm idea of what life is going to look like with people that you don't yet know.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like, don't put this whole future, like create this whole future with this person, like start slow, be open to how it is created, even open to the person.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. That's great. Totally. That's great advice.
I'll tell you, the other one that I get a lot is somebody who is single and dating and knows that they want non-monogamy. They often say, well, if I meet someone that I want to form an attachment bond with, should I have a monogamous relationship with them and build that foundation and then open up?
Yeah.
Because that seems really logical, but my answer is hell no.
No.
Begin as you intend to go on. If you aren't going to be compatible as a non-monogamous pair, like learn that now rather than later, if that's something that you know you want in life.
Right. Like if you meet someone that's like, oh no, it's just me and you forever. You might want to know that if you have tendencies to want to like go be with someone else. I know that was hard for me as I'm monogamish. I'm bisexual. I'm also married in a, man-woman sort of thing. And I didn't know, because I grew up Catholic, I felt like you just had to be with a man or a woman or a woman or a woman. And I didn't know anything about like what other kind of relationships there were and then that would cause me to like, step out on my relationship or like go do things that I shouldn't be doing, like a bad little girl. And then when I found, just alternative relationships, I was like, oh, this is actually where I want it. Like, this is okay. This actually helps me get my needs met without like cheating. Yeah. Yeah. So I had to break down like that, just that Catholic shame conversation. Yeah. Pretty hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah. The social conditioning for monogamy is deep.
Yeah.
So deep.
Yeah. And it comes from religion, right?
Yeah. I mean, at this, yes. And even, for people that aren't religious, like it's so ingrained in our culture.
Right.
Every story you hear is you meet someone, you fall in love, you live happily ever after. And if you ever look at another person again, you're evil.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if you do not believe that, like cognitively, logically, you're like, no, that's clearly not true. A lot of the times our subconscious is like, it might be true.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Right. Yeah. So, so you're ethically non-monogamous. And you're married, I heard. Mm-hmm. And do you have other lovers?
I do. Yeah. We have a third person in our relationship. We have a triad. We've been with our girlfriend for like 4 years. She also has been married for 20 years. So her and her husband actually both live here on the property with us. And then I have another partner that I've been dating for 1.5 years, and I actively date outside of that.
Yeah. I mean, for those of you that aren't watching this video and you're listening to this on audio, this woman is smiling. She is like jubilant. She is like stoked. Like she is getting, a lot of her needs met. Like there is
Nope.
a grin from ear to ear going on here. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So knowing that, like that could bring up a lot of shit in relationships. I'm really curious, like how dating outside of your relationship has it personally affected like the man that you're married to, like that relationship. What kind of stuff has been brought up and had
So
to be
much.
dealt with?
So much. I mean, first of all, like while I had committed wholeheartedly to myself that I was not going to be monogamous, that doesn't mean that I was immune to any of the things that come with that. Like I am absolutely a jealous and possessive person.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how I used to identify. And I remember thinking like these traits don't serve me. Like they don't bring anything positive into my life. They don't protect me. They don't make people stay, like they don't do any good. So I spent I still battle with it, but I spent a couple of years like really diving deep into, what are the sources of those? What are the pains in my life that get brought up again and again when I'm triggered in jealousy or insecurity and so I spent a couple of years working on that. And the first probably 2 or 3 years that Rob and I were married, I didn't really date outside of that because I was putting so much energy into building myself up, building up my sense of worth and my love for myself, and dealing with watching him date and fall in love with other people.
Ooh.
And like, while I was like, yes, I am okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm also sitting in a lot of fucking feelings, so many feelings.
Yeah.
So I couldn't at the same time also manage my emotions around going and dating other people and some of the guilt and weird monogamous programming that brought up on that end also.
Yeah.
So I worked on one thing at a time.
Okay. So it sounds like, dealing with your own feelings when your husband's out there falling in love with someone and you're a yes to that and you have a lot of feelings. And then also dating outside of your marriage also brought up like that old monogamous, like conversation within you or that shame or that like, wow, that's a lot for one person to deal with. Like, did you have help? Like, did you have a coach? Did you have a community? Like,
Yes. I joined a lot of Facebook groups that have to do with non-monogamy and polyamory. I worked with a therapist for a couple of years. I have a pretty strong community of friends and family. So I had a lot of support. And my husband, who's also super supportive, and my girlfriend, who's also super supportive. And yeah.
I'm imagining that you're talking about all of this stuff.
All of it.
All of it.
Journaling. Holy cow, did I do a lot of
journaling. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you for like sharing the real juicy stuff with me about.
Want to hear more?
Yes, please.
Let me fast forward to the other side of that, to when I started dating on my own outside of my established relationships.
Yeah.
Then after all of the support and all of the ways that my husband reassured me and, I love you and I'm not going anywhere. And he constantly gave me reassurance and constantly just boosted me up. And then I started dating other people. And it turns out he was not where I was because I had spent the last couple of years doing that work and he wasn't doing that side of the work.
Right.
So now it was like he was starting over on that piece for himself of the insecurities, watching me go out the door on dates.
Wow.
Yeah. So then there's this whole other side where I had to learn how to be supportive and reassuring to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
I mean, we're still married. No, it was great. The hardest part for me was being really clear in my own boundaries, like knowing what my desires are and what my commitments are to myself, separate from my relationships, and what my boundaries are, and really trusting him to be able to move through what he was experiencing in a really supportive and loving way, but without compromising my own needs and desires. Right? Because it's so easy to go, you're uncomfortable. I'm kind of the cause of that discomfort. So I'm just going to stop what I'm doing.
Right.
Like that is just instinctual, especially for like wives and moms and
like,
so that was really, really hard going, okay, I'm just going to, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to stand here and I'm not going to make any moves, because to me, I feel it's really important to move really slowly. So here's what I'm doing. This is outside of our comfort zone. And I'm going to give you time to move your way through it like a rock in the middle of a river, right? And he had to work his way through what he was feeling and get to the other side of that before I went, okay, now here's the next thing I want.
Wow. So you had to be really patient too, sounds like.
Yeah. Which can be really hard for people, you know, especially when there's like a lot of exciting love and sex to be had.
Right. Right. And then your partner's like, I'm so jealous right now. You can't see that person anymore.
Yeah. I mean, like there's jealousy. There's just the insecurity and fear of being left. You know, like, does this mean our relationship is unstable?
Of course.
A lot of fears that come up.
Yeah. Of course. Okay. So I know that you just had a new course come out. The Getting It On in a Group, Intentional Threesomes, Foursomes, and Moresomes. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this is an online course that can be done at your own pace. There's
so it's online.
It's online, full of videos and information and worksheets and recordings of some live Q&A calls that I've done with the people who are going through it right now. And what we are talking about is intentional group sex, right? Not let's get drunk and hope somebody wants to take their clothes off and maybe somebody will touch my junk. But like going through what it is that you want. What are your desires? What kind of an experience are you hoping to have? And anybody else who is there, what do they want? What are their reasons for being there? Right?
Yeah.
What are your fears? What are your insecurities? What are you scared will happen, you know, afterwards?
Right.
Or during, right? Sexual safety, STI testing, barriers. Like you got to change a lot of condoms in group sex.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
I've always been really just a little like, how do we do that? Like, is it okay if I touch you here? And then can I touch you there? And like, so you break all that down.
I break it all down. Yeah. I help you figure out the conversations. I help you figure out how to approach it. Choreography is the fourth module. Positions. How to have group sex without intercourse.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love all of these topics, and I might go, bust out my credit card here in just a moment. Okay. Well, what's your favorite group sex position?
It depends on how many people are there, but I really like the double cowgirl.
Ooh, tell me more.
So this is a man or penis haver laying down and two people on top of him, one on his penis, one on his face.
Nice.
Facing either direction. It's my favorite.
One that you do often?
Yeah.
Of course.
Tuesday night.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot.
Yeah.
I know, like for myself, especially, with COVID and all of that, my partner and I, we haven't been playing very often at all. Like, it's just, we moved to a new area. Like I've gotten on Tinder a couple times and then I immediately get off of Tinder because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? But there's there's definitely a desire there to meet people. Like, what should I do? What do you think? Like, what advice would you give me and even my honey, about what should we do? How do we like have fun with someone during COVID?
This is such a mind-boggling thing that like so much of our freedom has been removed because of this virus, right? And I could not in good conscience say go out and meet people.
Right.
However, I think there are a lot of fun things that you can do. I like to meet people online and start chatting with them, work into video chats, sexting, video sex. My partners and I attended a virtual orgy, basically, a virtual play party where there were 26 Zoom windows up.
Nice.
With couples, individuals, a couple of triads, a couple of dancers. Some people just sat back and watched, some masturbated, some played, some watched. It was so freaking hot.
Fun. That sounds fun.
Totally COVID safe. Yeah.
Nice.
And I mean, we've got vaccinations coming and we're getting so much closer to being able to go out and do things. And I think there is some screening you can do, just kind of depending on how, if you have a group of people who all work from home or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I hear like, just go slow and like, I have a tendency just to like go full force, and do the thing and marry the person.
Yeah.
And that's blown up in my face many of times, but that's a different story for a different day. Thank you so much for being on UnZipped. And I want to just give you a chance to share about your work. You want to share what you do and your websites and how can people find you and all of that good jazz?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a non-monogamy coach and I help people really find that stability and security to go out like in their relationships or within themselves, to go out and explore and have like sexual adventures and lots of love and get through the conditioning that makes that so difficult and heal the hurts that are stopping us, that are getting in the way. Right. So I work with individuals, couples, relationship units.
Yeah.
And you can find me at ElleciaPaine.com or on Facebook or on Instagram. It's pretty easy.
Great. And then I know you have some spelling. Like I can never get your spelling correct. Could you just give us some spelling?
Absolutely. Ellecia, Ellecia, Paine with an I, Paine.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on UnZipped. And with that, we are complete.
Thank you.